come again.
Hello people, how is it going today? I'm going to start a why series. Why, you ask? Well, we could be here all day asking why, so one at a time. My question for myself is, why is Dark Souls so difficult, and what makes it so different as a difficult game? Because there are loads of games out there that are difficult, but why is Dark Souls targeted to be one of the most challenging today? Well, there are a few things that as a casual and sometimes hardcore gamer, I have a specific taste when it comes to challenging games. I personally love medieval, realistic fantasy games, and my TV's just turned on there. Let me turn it off. As I was saying, a medieval realistic fantasy game where a combat system works with a realistic twist coupled with strategy, however real time. Similar to, say, Dragon Age Inquisition or the previous times, but without the ability to pause, and you put yourself Dark Souls, where the weight of your weapons and such has to be considered when playing the game. Other games that are difficult enable difficulties. You can choose whether you want it to be harder or easier, whereas Dark Souls has a one-size-fits-all policy where no matter who you are when you come to this game, you're going to play it the way everyone else had to play it. Now, you can make life easier when starting Dark Souls by picking a generic class such as, say, the Knight, with balanced stats to accompany obviously your new challenge. Some may opt for the Deprived and to take on the star of the game as a topless barbarian with base stats, so having to start literally from scratch. What I discovered, or well, for a lack of a better word, learned, was it didn't matter what stats or gear you had. Yes, that would help you stay alive longer or finish the battle quicker. You can pimp out yourself with meta stats and so forth. Though, if you do not have the skill to accompany these stats, then you're a piece of metal waiting to be sliced open like a can of custard. I chose custard there because custard. Basically, it will ultimately come down to your reflexes and your memory skills and your hand-eye coordination if you're playing with the controls, which you're likely to be doing. You have to remember the buttons and what skills will come out of it. Do you know the stamina cost of each attack? Do you know the amount of damage that your opponent can deal to you? Can you remember what animations to look for in your enemies, be it a boss or a player? You need to be able to anticipate your enemy's movement before you proceed with yours. Sometimes you may need to provoke an attack. For example, in PvP, I love my parries, and I know my opponent knows I want to parry. So how do I play with that? You know, I have to take in another layer of skill, which is your mental ability to read the battleground. Well, first, if we're talking in a specific scenario, I want him to swing for a light attack. That will allow me to give the parry. Well, he won't just give it to me. Sometimes you have to earn it. When I reach low HP, my opponent becomes desperate and swings, assuming I will be panicking, and he thinks he'll get an easy swipe to finish me. However, that is his downfall, because he will give me a free opportunity to parry him when he comes in for an easy attack. And there's someone at my door now. If you don't mind, go and answer that, because I am commentating. I talk a lot about parrying because to me that is the crux of this combat system. If you pull off a critical attack, you gain a huge advantage, and it is an in-game built system. So it's not cheating, you know, it's a legitimate way of being good at the game. If you can anticipate your opponent's attack, you deserve as a reward of finishing him off however you like. In my case, the great sword, smack, ham, bam. You know what I'm saying? Be prepared to die a lot, because when you want to learn to parry, you have to be willing to take a hit, because you cannot hesitate, and you will get hit. Let me tell you that now. So enough about parrying. Anyway, what I love about this game in a nutshell is that it puts you in a place where in any scenario, be it ganged by a group of PvE mobs or ganged by PvP enemies, If you have the right skills and gear to back up yourself, then you can go out and achieve whatever. You can take out as much enemies as you want, as long as you know how to sustain your character and his movements. That is what I like, not about who's got a better stats because they've ground the game out so much. Ground, I always like using ground even though it's not an actual word. But there we have it. I kind of twisted a little on the road there and kind of answered the question as to how to parry. Otherwise, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoy. This has been Puck. Peace.
I'm just a hero that was unsung, but in time they'll see I'm truly someone. I'm back and I want what is. I know